Hey, Southern Mail, how the heck are you boys today? This is a conversation I had last week with a fellow that I work with, and definitely a blue pillar, and getting ready to make the biggest mistake of his life. He was telling me that he had finally asked his girlfriend to marry him, and she gave him a yes answer with conditions. And one of those conditions was that he needed to adopt her 1.5-year-old daughter so that they could be a complete family. And I started asking him, I said, one, that sounds like a pretty bad move, and why would you place that as a condition on your marriage? So I asked him, where's the father of this child? And it appears that when she went after him for child support, the father disappeared. I mean, this guy dropped off the planet. Understandably so. But this girl, I've met her a couple of times, very much an alpha female, very much a modern woman, okay? And I talked with him a bit. You could tell he had concerns, and I sat him down and said, let's talk about this for a minute. I said, one, it sounds like she's already planning for the divorce. Why would a woman make this a condition to even say yes? No adoption, no marriage. Is that what she told you? And he responded with yes. And so the first thing that fell out of my mouth was, why don't you get your balls out of her purse, son, and start acting like a man? Because you're setting yourself up for 18 to 20 years worth of child support to a woman who is already making plans for the end of that marriage. There's no reason that you can't be a family as a stepfather. And do you really want to raise another man's child as your daughter? She may be a very sweet kid, but use your head a little bit. You're setting yourself up for even larger financial responsibilities than what you would through a standard divorce. And I talked with him about women's nature and tried to explain to him that, that she doesn't love you in the way that you love her. Don't mistake your feelings of love for hers, because they're not the same, and started explaining out some of the things to him. And he accepted a lot of it, but yet, he very much wants to be married and blah, blah, blah. Which there's no cure for that, honestly. I suggested a few MGTOW sites for him to go take a look at. And another fellow got involved in the conversation, and this young man, he's one of these guys that the girls drool over, and young guy, and he's more of I wouldn't call him a PUA, but he makes his rounds. But he even told him, he said, man, don't do it. When a woman starts laying out those kind of conditions, she's got something going on in the back of her mind. You might want to be careful. So we had an in-depth conversation. The guy said he really respected my opinion, but he loved her. Tried to explain to him, I said in a couple years down the road you could end up hating her because of the things she's going to do to you, and you better wake up to it. He is definitely a beta male. I wouldn't say he's real feminine, but he's a beta male. You can tell by his actions and so forth. Told him, you need to man up. You need to step up and start becoming a man. But the interesting part of the conversation is we had a co-worker, a female, very, very intelligent girl, tell she's well educated. Turns out she had studied psychology and was really interested in human nature. And this girl began to talk to him about hypergamy, the way women feel toward men, different things of this nature, and she had some pretty in-depth knowledge on it, and warned him, she doesn't love you like you love her, and when a woman starts laying down these kind of conditions, you need to be careful. because odds are she's already looking at the marriage ending, not the marriage beginning. And that kind of mindset is going to lead her to divorce. Then I heard her story of her first husband. They couldn't have children, so they went to the doctors and so forth. And a doctor said that her then husband was sterile. Turns out that was a messed up test result. But she divorced him. Ended up leaving him after about 6 months because she wanted a baby. Got tied up with a younger guy, probably about 8-9 years her junior, and tried again. And when nothing worked, she went back to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, you are sterile. You can't have children. And turns out that her ex-husband had gotten remarried shortly after their divorce, and he had had 2 children with this woman. So she kind of figured the test results got turned around. She said, but she was explaining, the basic instincts of a woman, and how that little girl's protection and her income are going to be far more important to her than he is. And for her to lay those kind of conditions out at the onset, he should be very, very cautious. So, guys need to understand that women come at relationships from an entirely different perspective than a man does. And the sooner they understand that, thoroughly understand that, there's not any Nawalts out there. All women have the same nature. Now, some are raised differently, have different traditional values, view things socially different, but the nature's there, much like your nature. Most men that aren't beta males who have been feminized have an aggressive streak in them. That simple. The true alpha male, which I get so sick of what I see out here on the internet, alpha males are nothing more than men who use logic and reason, and they look out for themselves. All right? Now, they can fall in love, and they'll take very good care of a woman. But the odds are, a woman's more concerned about that little girl. She's going to place her emotions and concerns with her child, not with you. You're always going to play second fiddle to children, and that's something guys just can't seem to get a handle on. And one of the reasons that courts often give custody to a woman is because of that nature, even though the woman may be a worthless piece of crap. So, I guess the thing I walked away from this conversation with, and I hope he did too, is the fact that he needs to look out for his long-term future. Because if he continues to play this game with this woman, he'll be divorced in a couple of years if it takes her that long. It appears to me that she is out to get a child support check coming in. You ever met one of these women where you just looked at them and after talking with them for a bit, begin to wonder, what kind of games they're playing? Just something phony, something fake about her. And I told him, I said, I don't want to badmouth your fiance, but my friend, there's some personality flaws that girl's packing that you need to be careful about. So I sent him out to a couple of sites to take a look at some MGTOW information. Hopefully he listens. What men need to start doing is, you need to walk away from these women. The male-female relationship has become so toxic that, you're constantly on guard. You can never really truly care for a woman once you know all the facts. You're going to stand off a bit, which isn't fair to a relationship. You need to worry about your life. Worry about your personal feelings. Worry about your future. And get busy. Because I can tell you right now, a woman consumes a lot of time. A lot of time. You need to make yourself the best man you can be. And there's a possibility, slim, but there's a possibility, that you will attract a woman and that fits into your lifestyle. But always make sure of your local laws. Be sure to cover your bases. Short of that, gentlemen, walk away from it. Just walk away. All right? You can lead a good, full life, a good life, without a woman involved in it. All right? And you'll find that even I've heard a lot of the younger guys talking about even sex with these younger women is kind of pathetic. I'd end up tossing them out of bed for being bored with them. Think about that. You boys have a good day. Take care. Cross your fingers for this young man. And hopefully he finds his balls and stands up to be a man.